In this video, we journey into one of the most enduring legends of the ancient world, a story where faith, courage, and light intertwine across centuries. From the streets of Syracuse to the snowy traditions of Northern Europe, Santa Lucia's legacy reveals a hidden connection between history, mythology, and the timeless human search for hope during the darkest nights of the year. But who was Lucia before she became a symbol celebrated worldwide? And why does her light still shine so brightly in modern times? Before we begin, remember to subscribe, leave a like, and activate the notification bell to stay updated with all the upcoming stories on Best of History and Mythology. In the ancient port city of Syracuse, a crossroads between Greek heritage and Roman authority, a young girl named Lucia grew up surrounded by bustling markets, marble temples, and narrow streets perfumed with olive oil and incense. Her family belonged to the local aristocracy, yet Lucia was known for her unusual devotion to quiet acts of charity. While others her age were expected to embrace luxury, she preferred visiting the poorest quarters of the city, carrying simple food and warm cloth to those who survived on the margins. Syracuse was a place of sharp contrasts. Wealthy merchants traded exotic goods from Egypt and the East, while ordinary workers struggled to endure rising taxes, political unrest, and food shortages. Lucia witnessed these inequalities every day. She learned early that fortune was fragile and that compassion carried more value than gold. This conviction shaped her personality in a city where appearances and status often dictated one's destiny. Her household preserved traditional Roman education, but Lucia gravitated toward lessons inspired by ancient Greek philosophy, especially ideas surrounding virtue, justice, and the inner light of the soul. These teachings influenced the way she interpreted the world around her. Even as a child, she displayed an uncommon calmness, a quality that made her stand out among her peers. Local elders often described her as a bright soul in a troubled time, a description that resonated deeply with those who knew the hardships of life under shifting imperial authorities. During public festivities dedicated to local deities, Lucia observed how deeply people longed for guidance, protection, and clarity. The rituals, filled with music and torches, left a strong impression on her. She saw how light symbolized hope in the midst of uncertainty, a theme that silently shaped her understanding of duty and kindness. Her daily life unfolded between family responsibilities and moments of quiet reflection. She often walked along the limestone cliffs overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, watching fishermen cast their nets into shimmering waters. The gentle rhythm of the waves helped her contemplate the meaning of generosity, resilience, and spiritual purpose. Though still young, Lucia carried within her a sense of direction that many older citizens lacked. This early blend of cultural influences, philosophical ideas, and genuine empathy forged the foundation of her future choices. It also placed her at the center of Syracuse's evolving identity during a period increasingly marked by social tension and spiritual searching. Lucia's life changed when her mother, Eutychia, began suffering from a chronic illness that weakened her day after day. Physicians in Syracuse offered remedies made from herbs, oils, and ancient techniques, yet none brought lasting relief. The uncertainty surrounding her mother's condition weighed heavily on Lucia, who searched for guidance beyond the reach of traditional healing. She turned her attention toward the growing spiritual movement that was quietly spreading across Sicily, finding comfort in its teachings about mercy, inner strength, and divine protection. Driven by hope, Lucia persuaded her mother to visit the city of Catania, where stories circulated about extraordinary healings linked to the memory of a revered martyr. Eutychia agreed, motivated not only by desperation but by her daughter's unwavering confidence. Their journey along the rugged Sicilian coastline was filled with silent prayers and a shared desire for renewal. Upon reaching Catania, Lucia knelt in the dim sanctuary, surrounded by flickering oil lamps and the scent of burning resin. She asked for clarity, not for herself, but for the woman who had raised her with patience and tenderness. According to the local tradition, as Lucia prayed with deep concentration, Eutychia felt a sudden ease in her breathing and a warmth spreading through her body, as if something unseen had lifted the burden that had plagued her for years. The improvement was immediate and undeniable. Though the people present interpreted the moment in different ways, Lucia perceived it as a sign that compassion, devotion, and trust could open doors unreachable by ordinary means. This unexpected recovery inspired Lucia to examine her own path more seriously. She began contemplating a personal vow that would give lasting meaning to her life and honor the gift her mother had received. Quietly, she resolved to reshape her future according to principles of humility and service. She envisioned using her family's resources to bring relief to those who lived on the outskirts of society, convinced that true wealth came from sharing rather than accumulating. Eutychia, seeing her daughter's determination, encouraged her to follow the direction her heart had chosen. Their bond deepened as they returned to Syracuse, carrying with them the memory of the healing and the sense that something profound had taken place. Lucia now felt a sense of responsibility that extended beyond her home, motivating her to prepare for choices that would influence not only her own destiny, but the lives of many others in her community. What value do you believe shines the brightest today? Compassion, courage, or spiritual resilience? Share your thoughts in the comments after watching the full story. In the months following her mother's recovery, Lucia's quiet generosity became more visible to those around her. She often left her home before sunrise, moving through the dim alleys of Syracuse with a small clay lamp to guide her path. She preferred traveling in the early hours because the streets were still and the poor could receive help without drawing unwanted attention. The faint glow of her lamp reflected off the limestone walls, creating an image that locals would later remember as a symbol of inner courage during a time marked by suspicion and fear. The city was entering a period of heightened tension. New decrees from Roman authorities demanded strict loyalty to traditional religious practices, causing anxiety among people whose beliefs differed from official expectations. Rumors of investigations and informants spread quickly, putting entire neighborhoods on edge. In this uncertain atmosphere, Lucia's nocturnal visits became even more challenging, yet she refused to abandon those who depended on her. She understood that the smallest gesture of comfort could make the difference between despair and resilience for families living on the edge of survival. To navigate the darker corners of the city, Lucia fashioned a simple crown woven from reeds, placing small lamps on it to free her hands while she carried food and supplies. This unusual practice, born out of necessity, created a striking image: a young woman walking through the gloom with a circle of lights above her head. Residents who caught sight of her from a distance whispered about the girl who brought warmth to forgotten streets. Although no one knew her purpose, the sight alone stirred hope among those who felt overwhelmed by rising pressures. Her quiet determination drew the attention of individuals who admired her character, but it also attracted the curiosity of those who questioned her motivations. Some viewed her actions as a personal form of resistance, an attempt to protect the vulnerable at a time when society preferred compliance over compassion. Her inner strength became a quiet example of how ordinary citizens could act with dignity, even when political uncertainty threatened daily life. As Lucia continued her work, she became associated with the idea of guiding light, a concept deeply rooted in Mediterranean culture. Light was seen not only as a physical necessity, but as a symbol of clarity, moral direction, and protection against fear. Her simple lamp, held steadily in the darkness, resonated with people who longed for stability and reassurance. Without seeking recognition, she embodied a form of courage that encouraged others to believe that small, sincere actions could push back the shadows gathering across the region. As the years passed, Lucia's legacy began to travel far beyond the streets of Syracuse. The memory of her steadfast character, her compassion, and the light she carried through the city's darkest hours resonated deeply with communities searching for symbols of hope. Stories about her courage circulated along trade routes connecting Sicily with the ports of the Mediterranean. Sailors repeated tales of a young Sicilian woman whose spirit could not be shaken, and these accounts slowly shaped her transformation from a local figure into a celebrated icon of spiritual resilience. In Sicily, devotion to Lucia grew quickly. Families spoke of her as a guardian who protected their homes and watched over travelers. Shrines dedicated to her appeared in small villages where fishermen, farmers, and artisans prayed for clarity during stormy seasons. Her name became connected with the idea of enduring brightness, a guiding presence capable of comforting people during moments of uncertainty. This association with light did not emerge from ceremony alone, but from a shared cultural memory of her quiet acts of mercy in a time overshadowed by fear. As centuries passed, Lucia's influence reached Northern Europe, where winter brought long nights and harsh weather. In these lands, her story merged with local traditions that celebrated the return of daylight during the coldest months. Communities embraced Lucia as a symbol of renewed hope, welcoming her feast with processions illuminated by candles and songs dedicated to the triumph of brightness over obscurity. Her figure evolved into a cultural bridge, linking the warmth of southern Mediterranean devotion with the winter rituals of northern countries seeking comfort in the promise of returning light. In Scandinavian regions, the image of a young girl dressed in white with a crown of candles emerged as a representation of Lucia's protective radiance. This figure, moving gracefully through homes and villages during the pre-dawn silence of December, carried food and warmth the same way Lucia once did in Syracuse. The symbolism grew stronger with each generation, turning Lucia into a central figure of winter celebrations. Through this transformation, she became known not just as a martyr of Sicily, but as the Queen of Light, a title reflecting her unique role in guiding communities through literal and symbolic darkness. Her story continued to evolve with each culture that adopted it, yet the core remained unchanged. Lucia represented generosity without expectation, clarity in times of confusion, and steadfast calm when the world felt uncertain. These qualities made her more than a historical figure. They elevated her into a timeless symbol, uniting diverse traditions under the shared belief that even a small light can reshape the darkest of landscapes. If you are enjoying this journey through ancient legends, make sure to subscribe to Best of History and Mythology. Leave a like and turn on the bell so you never miss the next story filled with history, myth, and human meaning. Long before Lucia's name echoed across Sicily and Europe, the date associated with her celebration carried a meaning that reached deep into the ancient Mediterranean world. December 13th once marked the darkest moment of the year, according to the old Julian calendar, a turning point when communities awaited the slow return of sunlight. Festivals held on that night honored the rebirth of brightness after a period of overwhelming shadows. These traditions belonged to an era when people looked to natural cycles for reassurance, watching the sky for signs that daylight would soon overtake the lengthening nights. As later generations embraced Lucia's story, they unknowingly preserved fragments of these pre-Christian customs. The lighting of candles, the early morning processions, and the emphasis on hope emerging from darkness reflected beliefs much older than the young woman from Syracuse. Her feast day merged seamlessly with themes already rooted in local culture, creating a bridge between the spiritual ideals of early believers and the seasonal rituals practiced by their ancestors. Instead of replacing the old traditions, Lucia's memory wove new meaning into them, transforming familiar gestures into expressions of devotion that felt both ancient and renewed. In many regions, this merging of ideas happened naturally. Farmers who once prayed for the return of the sun now invoked Lucia as a guiding force. Families who lit lamps to protect their homes during the longest night began associating their flames with her protective presence. Maritime communities, accustomed to honoring deities of light and navigation, found comfort in linking Lucia's symbol of brightness with their hopes for safe travel and calm seas. What began as seasonal observance evolved into a layered ritual that reflected both the rhythms of nature and the values embraced by emerging spiritual communities. The most striking revelation lies in how the celebration of Lucia preserved the ancient belief that light is reborn precisely when darkness reaches its peak. Her story did not override older symbolism but amplified it, giving new identity to a universal pattern recognized by different societies across centuries. Lucia became a testament to the human instinct to search for radiance in times of uncertainty. This convergence of traditions transformed her into a figure greater than any single historical period, allowing her presence to endure even as cultures changed around her. Rather than existing only within the boundaries of a specific era, Lucia became a symbol that transcended time. Her celebration represents a fusion of spiritual heritage, seasonal meaning, and collective memory. It is this union that makes her figure feel mysteriously ancient, as if she bridges the gap between past civilizations and present customs. For many, this connection is what gives Lucia her enduring power. She embodies the belief that no matter how deep the night may seem, light always returns, carrying with it the promise of renewal and clarity. What aspect of Santa Lucia's legacy resonates most with you today? The ancient symbolism of returning light, the cultural traditions, or her message of inner strength? Let me know in the comments below. In a world shaped by fast information, constant noise, and growing uncertainty, the figure of Santa Lucia continues to resonate because she represents values that remain universally relevant. Her legacy reminds people that small acts of kindness can illuminate the lives of others, even when circumstances feel overwhelming. Communities around the world still celebrate her feast with lights and songs because these gestures symbolize the timeless human need for warmth, reassurance, and connection during the coldest and most challenging seasons of the year. Modern interpretations of Lucia highlight her as a symbol of personal resilience. She embodies the idea that clarity can emerge when individuals choose compassion over indifference and inner conviction over fear. This message appeals to those searching for meaning in stressful environments where direction often feels blurred. Through her association with light, Lucia encourages the belief that every person carries the ability to guide themselves and others through difficult moments, much like a lamp cutting through darkness. Her celebration remains relevant because it bridges cultural, historical, and emotional worlds. Children participate in candle processions not only to honor tradition, but to experience a moment in which hope feels tangible. Families continue to prepare seasonal foods associated with her feast because these rituals strengthen bonds and preserve a shared identity. In countries with long winter nights, Lucia's presence provides comfort by acknowledging the psychological impact of darkness and offering a bright, familiar symbol of optimism. Beyond religious meaning, Lucia's story offers a reminder that heritage is a living element within modern life. People reconnect with their roots through the festival, discovering that traditions linked to light and renewal help foster a sense of balance in fast-paced societies. This connection to ancestry, combined with the emotional power of the season, keeps her figure alive in the collective imagination. Santa Lucia endures because she represents the universal cycle of renewal that every generation experiences in its own way. Her light is not confined to historical legend, but continues to inspire those navigating personal or social challenges. In this sense, her relevance grows stronger rather than fading, reinforcing the belief that illumination always returns, no matter how deep the night may seem. Thank you for watching. May the light of wisdom guide your path, and I'll see you in our next video, here on Best of History and Mythology.